All right, this one's a history book, so I'm kind of an odd fit, but thanks you all for listening. Book is called Our Peace, The Black History of Snyder, Texas, 1914 to 1966. Thank you very much. Segregation began in Snyder, Texas at about 3 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, July 8, 1915, when a bomb exploded on the southwest corner of modern-day 26th Street and Avenue Q. The blast shattered the hardwood floor of a two-story hotel, hurling shards of wood and glass toward the walls of First Baptist Church a few dozen yards to the south. Across the street to the north, the shock wave slammed against the side of First Presbyterian Church, rattling the little wooden steeple that crowned its eastern face. Dust erupted into the air along the horse-trampled roads of Snyder's business district. Echoes of the blast thundered off the windows of the Scurry County Courthouse and went booming out through the sleeping town. For a moment, the only sound was the Texas wind. Then the shouts came. Jim Percy awoke from a dream to find himself hurtling toward the ceiling of his bedroom on the second floor of his hotel on West Street. He crashed back down onto the mattress in a pile of sheets with one of the loudest sounds he'd ever heard ringing in his ears, the odor of spent gunpowder in his nostrils, and darkness all around. He looked out his window to see the shards of its glass panes sparkling in the dust of Scurry Street below. He couldn't hear, he couldn't smell, he could barely see, but he could still shout. It had already been a particularly difficult week for Mr. Percy. It seemed that the Snyder police had been watching his business constantly since he first made the choice to accept black patrons. During the first week of July 1915, law enforcement had been particularly visible. On the day before the explosion, Percy had been arrested on one charge of keeping a disorderly house. After paying the fine at the county jail, he went home and went to bed in a terrible mood. Now he could hear someone shouting back to him over the high-pitched ringing of his ears. As he made his way down what was left of the hotel's wooden staircase, he was met by the sight of his tenants standing shocked and shaking in the road. Miraculously, there had been no life-threatening injuries. Snyder's first African-American residents quickly gathered up what remained of their belongings and made their way to the cottonseed oil mill housing southeast of town. There would be no black families residing within the city limits of Snyder, Texas, for the next 38 years and 4 months. Daybreak revealed the debris of the hotel scattered across the quiet intersection where hoof prints battled with tire tracks for control of the dust. As Mr. Percy surveyed the damage to his establishment, he glanced underneath the boards of its front porch and noticed the second bomb. I should have done this better. Okay. Come on, damn it. Scurry County's first experiment with an integrated society had lasted less than 1 year. In time, no one would remember. But the vacant wreck of the little hotel on West Street was still standing as a silent reminder 5 years later in 1920. By June of 1927, it had been pulled down, built over, and forgotten. The people of Snyder would never learn who planted the devices that resulted in more than half a century of segregation in their city.